Hello folks, we've just had some crazy times, markets going up and down because Bitcoin just had that big crash, right, to 91, 92K, and then had this massive bounce because the PCE inflation data came out very positive. So what is happening in the markets right now? Is the bull run over, or are we just going sideways, up or down? So here's the thing. Let's get straight to it. I'm going to show you Bitcoin, Ethereum, and then we're going to do a few altcoins and see how this plays out. So let's start with Bitcoin here. On the daily, let's make a difference between the daily and the weekly. On the daily, it looks kind of good because, right, we have these big drops, right? Went to 92K, everyone freaked out thinking it's going to go to the 80s. But this 94K area held, as I was saying, and that now, let me put into log, 94K area held. And now basically that was a very good close. We're going to see a similarly strong close on Ethereum as well. But the problem is this, that now Bitcoin's going to really have to try to keep itself within the rising channel and bounce from here, right? So this close is going to be important. This, where we are right now? This right now is at 97.4. So it can't go any lower and must bounce along here. If it closes lower, then we're at the threat of challenging this 94K area again. And if we break 94K, right, if that doesn't hold, then we're back into this big range. And that's not good. That's not good, right? That basically, I don't think that the bull market is over, but that means we can spend weeks, even a couple of months, right, thrashing around in here. So, a few strategies that, the reason why I want to point out to you guys is this. Let's have a look at the weekly. The reason why that bounce looked really good on the daily chart, what we just saw was the daily chart. What we saw was this, right? Looked really good, like a big bottom. And it could be the bottom, it could. But the problem is, it's looking good and, you know, we could get a bounce here. But what I want everyone to be careful is, as I said in my last video you just saw, which is like 1 day ago, is that right now I want everyone to play a little bit more defense. Before, when Bitcoin was running up to 100K, 108K, we all thought this was like, we all thought this was like, pure offense, right? It's a bull run, pure offense. Now I think situations are unclear. Let's play half offense, half defense, right? As much defense as there is offense. Play half and half. I'll explain why. If you don't understand, watch my last video because I explain it with why cryptos are crashing, why the stock market is crashing, and you know what caused that, because of the Federal Reserve. But now I'll do some explanation as well. But for a detailed explanation, refer to my last video. So right now we're actually midnight on the Saturday in Asian or Australian time zone. In the US, I believe this is only your Saturday morning right now. Saturday morning. This goes to my Discord first, so people on other platforms probably see it like half a day later or something. The reason why this is a problem is because if we put it onto the weekly chart, right, you see that's where, even though it looks good on the daily chart, on the weekly chart, Bitcoin doesn't look great, right? Because this is still, even though we had this big wick down, a big bounce here, right, came back into the channel, this is still a pretty solid red candle. When that happens, especially when it's in a rising channel like this, what can happen is what I call fill the wick. Fill the wick meaning, see here, this was the wick down, right? So then price can meander down, right, flirt with this 94, 93.5 area, and then bounce from there. That's the optimistic scenario. Or the pessimistic scenario is something like this, and then break down. Then we're back into this big yellow zone again. That would not be good. And that's why I'm telling you guys, since my last video in my Discord, to play half defense, half offense. Half offense because, you know, we're buying some dips and thinking it could go up further, right, for the run. Half defense in that we probably want to put some shorts on as well and take some profits when they bounce for a relief rally. So now let's have a look at Ethereum. Ethereum, where are we with Ethereum? Let's see. Okay, Ethereum is here. Okay, Ethereum, this candle, this is the weekly candle once again. So weekly candle, again, you can see that's a problem. Yeah, it's a big wick, but you've still got this big solid body of red here, right? So we really need to close somewhere like here by Sunday, which I don't think is going to happen, for this candle to look anywhere near reasonable. So on the daily, it looks good, right? We're looking like this is a big bottom. And a few hours ago, I said in my Discord, I said when price was up here, right, when everything looked rosy, I said, I think we're going to fill the wick. Fill the wick, meaning this is the wick, right? Wick all down to 3,100. Price meanders down somewhere like this, maybe a half fill, maybe a full fill, and then bounce up again. That would be the bull scenario. If it, once again, if it does this and then breaks down and goes to 2,800, you know, 3,000 or 2,800, right? Then that's obviously more concerning. Doesn't mean the bull market is over, but you know, we don't want to see that. So because these scenarios can happen, that's why for the first time I'm saying, you know, for the last 3 months, I've been saying 94K for Bitcoin, 94K for Bitcoin. And I've been saying it's going to have difficulty. Bitcoin's going to have difficulty getting over 100K. Bitcoin's going to have difficulty getting over 100K. And indeed, Bitcoin has had a lot of problem getting over 100K, right? It's basically a fake out and it's back down again. So now, this is the first time I've been saying the situation's unclear, right? I can see positives and negatives. And that is from the stock market, because the stock market is so much more influential. Watch my last video if you want to know what I mean by that, because the stock market is kind of in flux right now. So play a bit of offense, play a bit of defense, right, at the same time. Whereas before we're just playing offense because it was more of a bull market. Let me show you what I mean by that. Okay, so for example, I'll just take this from like about 4 days ago. I made a video talking about Ondo. So, and I said the place to place a buy order will be somewhere along here, because this yellow line, right? This yellow line is the place where I would think about dollar cost averaging in. $1.68 area. And then if things get more extreme, then, well, anywhere between $1.68 to this $1.63. So that was my first zone. And if things get more extreme, I would do it around this $1.48 area. And look at this. It came in almost exactly on there, right? Makes you tempted to put on, you know, a futures leverage trade and catch that wick up. But that's your preference. If you want to do that, not financial advice from me. So here, Ondo really needs to hold this rising yellow trend line. It really needs to hold that. If it doesn't, then what we're going to see is bounce off this 164 area, or even bounce off, you know, fill the wick. This is the wick. Fill the wick, bounce off to 150. Both scenarios possible. Come up, and then you got to bounce to $2 to hit this yellow rising trend line and becomes resistance. Right now it's support, right? We don't want to close weekly below here, right, by Sunday night. Because if you do, then once it bounces back up again, then this becomes resistance. Here's $2, and then we're going to do these ones, and then maybe go up. But that just means more sideways action, and this could take us into some sort of wild swing into January, February, past the Trump inauguration, and then maybe go up. Going down is also possible. So this is where the futures traders have an advantage, because you guys now can do both longs and shorts. And I believe right now we're probably more in an area where you need to play defense as well as offense. So some shorts would help. So for example, if you picked up this coin around here, as per my second dollar cost average mark, if we bounce up to around anywhere on and hits this rising trend line, say 190 here or $2 here, depends on when you hit it, right? Then taking some profits here, maybe not all profits, but taking partial profits, right, would help. And then maybe go short, because it could bounce off this line and come down like this. But right now we haven't confirmed yet. That's, you know, I would give it till Sunday night to see what the weekly close on Ondo is. So that's just a follow up on Ondo, and you can see how well this second support line, or this second, support line worked out. The first one, it went straight through because there was a lot of panic in the markets. So let's do another one, Doge. Now, Doge is kind of, this is what I would say about Doge. See, this is, do people remember when the last all-time high was? See here, when Doge hit this all-time high here, around 73 cents US dollars, that was actually the exact, and now we're only at 40 something, so we're not near all-time highs yet. Folks might remember the last time Doge hit 73 cents all-time high was the exact evening when Elon Musk went on Saturday Night Live, and I called that, I was broadcasting that live, I was calling it live, and I called that the Super Bowl for crypto. And Elon Musk was already quite influential back then because he was the richest man in the world, but he's nowhere near as influential as right now, because right now he's twice as rich as before, because not just Tesla, but SpaceX is also worth like $100 billion for him. And also, he's essentially, in effect, the second prime minister. He's essentially oh, let me just turn the lights on here. I forgot the lights. He's essentially right now the vice president of the United States, right? So basically, he's so much more powerful right now. Imagine the richest man in the world is also the second most powerful man in the world, if you don't count the Chinese presidents and prime ministers, right? So that is an extreme power for a guy like that, and he's running a department called Doge. Remember, he's running a department called Doge. So even though it's a meme coin, I kind of disregard it as a meme coin. I think Doge is actually getting quite legit. If people ask, "Oh, what does Doge do?" What does Doge do? Doge does nothing. People don't understand crypto would say something like that. Do you know what Doge does? Have you looked at the code, the programming, the coding of Doge, the underlying code? It's exactly the same as Bitcoin. If you say Dogecoin is a meme coin, then Bitcoin is also a meme coin. Because the guy, his name's Billy Marcus. There's two of them. There's one Aussie guy and one American guy who created and invented Doge. They basically took the coding, copied the coding of Bitcoin, exactly the same, and then they just changed a few numbers. The most significant number they changed is inflation. The inflation on Doge is larger than Bitcoin, right? So, and I think from memory, the inflation is kind of unlimited, but it's not hugely high, like some of those venture capital VC coins, but it's higher than Bitcoin. That's the only main difference. Everything else is almost the same. So Doge, because of how powerful Elon is this time, I am expecting, if this bull run doesn't get cut short, so I'm expecting a higher run for Doge, right? To beat its all-time high, which was 73 cents, which was, somewhere to get above 73 cents. If we still get, if this bull market doesn't get cut short, it can get cut short because of recession, because of whatever reason. But let's say if this bull market plays out normally, we're looking for some sort of bounce here, right? And then for it to go up to make a new all-time high, just because of how powerful Elon Musk is. Let's get into the technical levels here. But before we do so, let's ask the question: which crypto exchange does Pablo use? Well, Pablo is very conscious of tax reasons and privacy, so Pablo does use a non-KYC exchange. That means you don't have to hand in your ID. And in fact, they won't ask for your ID. That means the US government, the whatever government, the FBI, the tax office, the IRS, nobody knows you're using this account because they don't ask for ID. And even American users can use this exchange because they don't know you're American. They don't ask for ID. And right now, there's a Pablo He-Man deal going on with Bitunix. So when you deposit, this is for only 6 days more only. Only 6 more days left. Deposit 100 USDT, get $20 futures bonus. Deposit 1,000 USDT, get 200 futures bonus. I've been using this one, and then we click this button, and that will take you to the page to register. And this is the largest non-KYC in the world right now. So if you're watching this on YouTube, then the link is in the description just below this video, or if you're on any other platform, just go to my page, right? Just find my page and there's a stand link. That's my link tree here, my stand link, Pablo Hime. Click on that and it's the first deal that comes up. That's how big of a deal this is. We just click on Bitunix there and it takes you to that page. Okay, now let's straight get back into Doge and its technicals. Doge technical levels, basically, let's see, it followed the technical levels actually relatively well. So basically, 27.4 is where I had it. It got down to 26.4-ish area, right? So when 1 cent past my level, but because it's not okay, let's get onto the weekly chart. Weekly, Doge is looking, daily, it's looking good, right? This is a very good looking bottoming tail, and now because what's happened to Bitcoin and Ethereum, as I said to you guys early in the video, now what could happen is basically we could have a fill of the wick and it could come down to below 30 again to say like 38, 28, 29, maybe even touch this 27.5 area and bounce again. If there's a panic in the market, I can't rule it out. Then the next place is 23 cents. This is where we can place at 23 cents, where we can place what they call stink bids. Stink bids means like you don't expect it to get filled, but if it does get filled, then great, you're in that's pretty good luck for you. So either bouncing off here, right, or bouncing off here, and if it was to get back to this area when it hits this channel, bottom of this channel, 39. 40 cents, depends on when it hits, right? Because it's an upward sloping channel. Then basically for futures traders, then maybe take some profit. And if you are confident, you think this is going to run more, then let it bounce and see if it can confirm itself back into the channel again. It's important that it gets back into the channel, because if it doesn't, then we're going to see more rejection here, right? At around this 39, 40 cents level, and then back, and then more bounces off this 27. Now, looking at it on the weekly, on the daily looks great. On the weekly, unless we close the weekly chart somewhere on Sunday around, say, 38, 39 cents, then this is still an ugly looking chart, right? It's basically a very big block of solid red. That means we can easily just refill the wick. The wick is here. Refill the wick means going to something like 26, 27, right? Something like this. And then bounce in a bullish scenario, or even go lower to 22, 23. So, this is pretty simple. Basically, buy the support areas and sell the resistance areas, right? When it gets to resistance, we sell some. When it gets to support areas, we buy it. And this is basically what you do in uncertain times like we are right now, which is half defense, half offense type of market. For people who have spot orders, you might want to take some off, shave some off when it gets to these key resistance. That's up to you. Or you might want to hedge your risk with some futures shorts. You're holding spot, but you buy some futures shorts to offset your risks. That's up to you. So one more we'll look at is Sushi coin, and Sushi is basically has taken a big dump because of look how big that dump is, because of because it's the number 2 largest DEX on Ethereum, and because Ethereum has taken a battering from 40, it's gone down $1,000 from 4,100 to 3,100. So Sushi, being the second largest DEX, went from like 280 to now, this is weekly, $1.26. So my 2 levels here for support is, one is at $1.39 and another is at $1.22. It kind of stopped somewhere in between. If you're just a spot trader and you really want to catch it, $1.39 is nice discount. It's already 50% down from $2.80, and then $1.22. So I do think we're going to get fill the wick situation here. $1.40 and $1.22 is where I'm putting my dollar cost averaging orders. And in extreme scenario, it could wick to like 93, 94 cents area. That you could try putting some bids there to see if you get lucky or not. And then in extreme panic, it hits there and then bounce from there. And just like, I'm bullish on Ethereum. I think it's yet to run its course to make a big run. I do think Sushi will play out something like this, and then boom, eventually go to a higher high, like $5, and then 620 are its next targets. But that's months down the track, and that's provided if this bull run does not get cut short by the by the recession, by the stock market, by the yen carry US dollar yen carry trade, whatever, right? So provided we have a normal run, I do think Sushi can get to $5 or 620, or perhaps even more. Okay, thank you guys for following Pablo once again. I'll catch you guys in a day or two.